What's up, guys? Welcome back to my page where we go over Turo and how to make your fleet run as smoothly as possible. Today we're going to go into why your car gets delisted. This will happen for numerous reasons, but we're going to go over the top few reasons why this will happen and what you got to do to fix it. Alright guys, so before we get too far into this, make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Let's get this info out there, make it as easy as possible for everybody else so you don't have to go through the same mistakes I did. Alright, so one of the big reasons that your car will get delisted, you're going to have recalls. Recalls are huge for any vehicle nowadays. You know, everybody's super happy nowadays, so the car manufacturers are doing everything they can to cover themselves. Okay, so there's multiple ways to check the recalls on your vehicle. One of them is the NHTSA, Carfax. You can go straight to the manufacturer. They'll have all that stuff too. But you definitely have to make sure you check all this stuff out. Now, my suggestion, when you buy a car, if it's pre-owned, if it's used, you're buying it off the lot, my suggestion, before you sign that dotted line, run the VIN. You know, while the guy's walking inside, you're just kind of checking around, you know, you're kicking the tires, whatever. Go through, snap a picture of the VIN or write it down and start the process of listing your car on Turo before you even buy this car. This is going to be huge. This could save you a lot of money. There's been multiple people, and we've been one of them, it was kind of a fluke thing where we bought it, and then shortly after the recall hit, and then there was, of course, no fix for the recall anytime soon, so now we're sitting on a car. Okay, so once you start listing this car, you're not obligated to, you don't have to finish this. You can delete the listing, but I would suggest go in there, put on the VIN number, your make, model, miles of the car, and Turo will basically send you a thing right there on the home screen as you're doing it, and then you're only 25% in, and it'll say your car is eligible, which is perfect, right? Now you know that all the recalls, everything according to Turo is good. Turo goes based off of Carfax, so if you have the NHTSA and that one says it's good, or you go to, you know, any of the other sites and it says it's good, make sure that whatever dealership that is, whoever performed the recall, make sure they post it onto Carfax. That's the one that Turo is going to get you on. You can have everything completely taken care of, and then all of a sudden, you're like, what's going on here? Well, it wasn't updated to Carfax, so now you're kind of SOL and still paying on this car. If you're doing a payment, you're still paying on this thing and have no way to fix it. So that's one way to kind of check that out. Now, with this in mind, the new cars, they're going to have recalls. It's not a matter of if, but when. It's kind of like your cars on the platform. It's not a matter of if, but when they get in an accident, it's going to happen. Know this going in, and this is where I'm huge on make sure you know what you can afford as far as a car. The reasons for this is you don't want to buy a car. All of a sudden now it has a recall. Well, it's a new car, so they're not going to have a fix for this recall instantly. No, it's going to be, hey, we got a recall for a safety belt latch, and we don't have a cure for it or a remedy for it, so now you're stuck. You're stuck with this car for 3-4 months on end, and now you're making these payments, and you're stuck. You're stuck. You're stuck. You're dead in the water. Now, I hope you like this car, and I hope you can afford it, because this is going to be your daily driver for a while. Otherwise, it's just sitting. So, as I said, be real careful with it. Okay, so another way to get delisted, and this is true story. This happened just to me this month, actually. So the Forte, with that Forte, we got it listed, went out on a trip. An hour into the trip, blew a tire, or sidewall blowout. And I'll be honest with you, there was something kind of weird with it, because these tires only had, 30,000 miles on it, if that. No, not even that. They had probably 20,000 miles on it. So it was something ridiculous. They're 2020 tires. At most, the latest those tires would be, unless somebody swapped them out, you know, from the dealer. But I don't see that happening, and I have pictures to show that it was, you know, original tires. But either way, the oldest these tires could have been would have been in 2019s. So there's no way that there was any issues, and I have pictures of my tread depth, all this for the pre-trip photos, and there's a sidewall blowout. Driver says that nothing happened, it wasn't on him, this and that, you know, of course, you know, it's never my fault. So regardless, that part of the story don't really matter. We got the tires taken care of. He filed a claim on the car, which was basically tires, because he had a blowout. So then, while his trip's still in session, my next renter, they booked out the car for 22 days. they said, hey, I couldn't change the primary driver on my car, this and that. It's just kind of a headache. I mean, it wasn't too bad. It was simple fix. So regardless, they were like, hey, we're going to cancel our trip and rebook it under another name. And here I'm thinking, oh God, here we go. I just lost a nice 22 day booking, right? Something that was just going to be perfect right off the bat. But no, renter was super cool. They said, okay, so we got this other account set up. We're going to book it. And they go to book it and they're like, hey, we can't find the car. And I was like, oh God, here we go. So I'm going through and I'm checking everything on this. Like I said, my car's still out on a rental. We already took care of all the fixes. And when I come back to it, I go to my listing and it says unlisted. I'm like, what the heck? So I try and list it, going through everything I need to, and it says contact Turo. And we all know how contacting Turo is. It's worse than pulling, nope, can't even say that. My wisdom tooth got pulled quicker than it took to get a hold of Turo. So bad. I know they're working on their things right now, so I don't want to trash talk them too much, but it's frustrating. My suggestion is go to the live chat on, online or email. You're going to be way quicker that way. So regardless, they wanted to show that the damage was maintained, it was fixed, and so everything went pretty smoothly after I got a hold of them. All they wanted to see was that the damage claim was cured, and basically they wanted pictures of the tire receipt. They wanted any kind of information that they needed so that they could relist my car. Not a big deal, right? The other part that kind of sucked with this was I booked my car at a specific rate before the damage happened. After the damage happened, I know you guys were seeing this, and Turo has since fixed this problem, but it was the pricing thing. So sadly, what happened was my listing price was a little higher than what they originally booked the car at. So I'm thinking, oh God, here we go. Here's another hurdle, right? Another obstacle I got to deal with. It was only $1, but or I think it was $2, but over a 22-day period. I mean, that starts adding up. And I changed my discounts. I changed everything just because supply and demand was so ridiculously off-skewed there. Y'all know what was going on. And Turo would only allow us to go to a certain price point. Well, when they tried to rebook it, I tried to put the car back at the price that they wanted, and that didn't happen. So regardless, they paid that extra little bit, but we made up for it in the end. That's a whole nother story. But like I said, the blown tire and the fact that the other renter put a claim on the car, that was another reason for it to get delisted. So anytime you have any kind of claims against the car, Turo's automatically going to kick it until they see that there's that the car has been fixed. There's a remedy for it. They want to see proof. They want to see receipts, this and that, everything that goes along with it. So what did crack me up with it was I showed him a picture of the receipt, and as I'm texting him or as I'm writing to him online, they say, hey, we need to see the VIN number handwritten on the receipt. And I'm like, this is so ridiculous, because I could give you any car, I could pull up any receipt and say, hey, it's done. But regardless, they did take care of it. We did get it backlisted, and that car is now on that 22-day trip. So all is good, right? But there you go. There's two ways that you can get delisted like that. I know that there's a couple recalls coming out on some Nissans, so just keep your eye out for that one. And those are going to be safety recalls. That's going to be for a brake light switch, which I'm not sure specifically what year models they are. And it's really kind of being a pain right now because one of the cars that I was going to buy was a Nissan, and super good deal. And they've actually raised the price, but they're still going to honor the price that I was originally going to buy it at. This could very easily be one of their tactics, but I'm seeing around the market, the price that they raised it to is an actual legit price. So I think once I kind of said that I was interested, they were like, oh crap, we can't even replace this car for that much. So one of those things of you got to be on top of it when you're buying cars. Just stay on it, watch it. But this is one of those things that I just happened to overhear when I was going through a dealership. They were like, oh yeah, we just had to pull all these cars because it's got this recall. And then I was like, okay, cool. So I started digging a little bit, just kind of asking, so what is it about? And it was a brake light. Well, of course, if it's a brake light switch, of course Turo is going to get a hold of that. And they're going to be like, no more. We got to get all these things figured out. So that's where I'm sitting at. I punched in the VIN and all that. And of course, Turo said it's good to go. And I'm just not sure that I'm really really willing to take that risk right now because it may be good to go, but how long is it going to be good for? Is it going to be good for a week or two? And right now, as of right now, when I checked it, Nissan doesn't even have a fix for it. They don't even have a cure. Now, when I did talk to Nissan, they did say it's only affecting about 20% of the cars, which isn't that big, but in the scheme of everything, it is still a safety recall, and it's something that Turo is going to see, especially brake lights. Of course, they're going to be like that. You know what I mean? Really got to pay attention to what you're doing here. You can't just go out, start buying stuff and putting it on the platform. You don't know what, you got to stay in it. You got to see what's actually moving, what's coming up, what recalls are out there. Is there even a fix for it? Because that's the worst thing. Like I said, you don't want to do it, and now there's no fix for it. And this is why I'm another advocate of not buying multiple of one car. If you're basing your whole fleet on Ford Focus, and now all of a sudden there's an airbag recall, or there's a seatbelt recall, or a brake recall, now your whole fleet, you just bought 10 of these cars, and now you're dead in the water and have a whole bunch of, assets that are sitting there and not making you any money. So just be careful. Make sure you diversify, just like any other investments. Just diversify. But this guide gives you an idea of what's to expect when you are listing your cars and how to try and get around it. Protect yourself as much as possible. But like I said, there will be recalls. There's constantly recalls on cars. So just be ready for that. So with all this said, like, subscribe, make sure you follow along, get that notification button, and just be cautious. Make sure you guys know what you guys are actually getting into before you get into it. And just keep your eyes and ears open of what's going on with cars. If it is a new car, it's going to happen. So we will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, and go make some money this week. Later.